When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some. When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport, and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for getting your pot on. Thanks for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Support those that support us, like Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. You heard him right there. I'm driving around in one of their Jeep Wranglers.
That's a sharp-looking.
Yeah,
that's a sharp-looking Jeep.
It is a sharp-looking Jeep. I love it. You know, Danny, I was thinking today I'd like to go back in time, back to a simpler time when, I don't know, like my dad went to shake up a bottle of cough syrup once to give to one of the kids, and the lid wasn't put on exactly tight, and it splashed up the wall. And he took it and he went, "God damn motherfucker." And he slams it down and it bounces up and it's all over the ceiling and the walls. And my mother's crying because she's the one who didn't put the lid on it exactly right. Or he would hit his thumb with a hammer and call it "cocksucking motherfucker." And the thing would go hurling to the back. And nobody cared. Nobody cared. It was what a man did. It's how he blew off steam.
Right.
It was no problem. It was nothing.
Fellas could do stuff.
They would yell at you.
Yes.
They would tell you need to have your head examined. There were all these things that, you know, I want some day without kids in it, you know, go to bed, these types of things. And I'm just saying, like, it was a simpler time.
Yes.
Now we live in a time where it's like
Everything's recorded.
Well,
Everything's magnified.
okay. All right. I wasn't even going to go there.
Everything's on record.
Yeah, I wasn't going that way, but you're not wrong on that at all, clearly.
My wife has these Alexa things. I have to unplug it when she's not home because I'm that guy. I don't swear. But I'll say things out loud.
You just talk to.
I'll just talk to myself.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
I call it dansplaining.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I dansplain things out loud. I think through things as I talk through them.
Yes.
But I don't want Alexa to hear that stuff.
No.
Because I'm working through thoughts. It's not a permanent thought. It's not what I think. It's like, all right, well, if this happens and this happens and this, but I explain it, and I don't need Alexa hearing that stuff.
No, but you're right.
And I don't need Alexa knowing what I'm doing, like what I'm watching or what I'm, or what I'm wearing or any of that other stuff.
Well, I admit everything. I even admitted last night. I asked Stephanie if she was familiar with realtor porn, where the real estate agent's showing some single guy and then they end up banging. And how do I know this? Because I lead
Is this included in the price?
Sad and lonely life. What I was going to say was, back in the day when, like, my old man, you know, he'd be yelling, screaming, hitting things, cursing all the time, mad. The air would turn purple. You could hear when his car was hitting the driveway. You would just run and hide because you just knew by the sound. Even just the sound of the gravel sounded annoyed as you pulled up sometimes. And I go, but now it's not that you're not allowed to be that way. You are, but the way we express ourselves, we realize how wrong that is. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Like, we've evolved enough to know that you can't react that way to things.
My father admitted that before he died to us. Not on his deathbed, long before he died.
Yeah.
He said, I didn't mean to be such a rotten SOB.
Right.
And then he would explain why.
Yes, that's what I mean. Exactly. And I get it, Butch. I get it.
Yeah.
I understand. That's Danny's dad.
Yeah.
I get it because I'm going, you just want to like scream, but you can't anymore because it's not the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's people who are more evolved than me. I'm the missing link, I guess. I don't know what it is, but it's like, I just want to yell, scream.
Well, if you want to be studied, you could probably earn a lot of money being it's me. I'm the missing. Go to UB or U of R and they'll study you. You make a ton of money.
I have said, like, I mean, this past couple of weeks, and you know some things that I have just been so frustrated and angry and mad. And I was like, the other day I could see myself, and I don't do it anymore, but I could put a hole in a wall. Like, you know, there was a lot of drywall in my past.
I remember.
Yeah. And I right in those days, or like even the way we did the break, well, I would get so mad about something. Like, you can't really do that anymore because it's just, and it should never have been acceptable. I am admitting that. there was a little fun in that. It was a blow off steam. You blew it off and it felt okay. But the problem is, where's that gun, for lack of a better term, aimed, and who's absorbing this heat and this blow? And I absorbed so much blow, I just figured everybody did. And so you just kind of rolled on. It was like water off a duck's back after a while. You're told, you're stupid. And you just went on. But now you're realizing that maybe that wasn't the healthy way. So I hate it because now I question, what the fuck is wrong with me? Instead of just living.
Yeah.
And just go, I punched a fucking hole in the wall. I was molested as a child. My parents had no idea. I'm angry. I'm pissed off about things in my life as an adult. What the fuck do you want from me?
Right.
But I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do that.
But you want to do that. Right.
I want to do that.
You can't, but you want to.
No. And so now I'm so modern man, I go and I talk to somebody. And, even they're
Thank you, Tony Soprano.
Well, but that wasn't why. I was doing it before that. Well, I think it was. But I've done it a number of times, and I decided I should probably go and do it again. And then I'm told I haven't really dealt with certain issues, like really put them to bed. And I'm like, okay. So I looked at this person. I go, they're like, well, I said, yeah, there's been a lot of drywall in the past. There's been a lot. There's been a lot of drywall, a lot of things. I go, people want to know where it came from. I go, I told you. I gave you graphic detail of the molestation. I gave her graphic detail. I go, how about that? How about this? How about these things? How about that? How am I not supposed to be that way? And she's like, well, do you ever consider maybe trying this or that? And I go, no, I kind of like my method.
That's the big thing. One of the things about it,
like hitting a heavy bag, or I like yelling. I like it. It makes me feel. I can't. And it's like, but other people do not.
Right.
And I'm going to drive away
the reverberation.
The people that I love the most. I have always, and I've been told this over the years, that I turn my guns toward the person that's closest to me. And I think a lot of times with me, I want you to feel the pain I'm feeling. This sucks so bad. I want you to
empathize.
Well, it's not even empathize. I want you to fucking feel it. And if I have to say mean things to make you feel it, I'm going to fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like someone coming up and you go, oh my God, this tastes like shit. Try it. You know what I mean? I want you to have the same bad taste in your mouth as me. And I go, but here's the sick part, not the sick part. The healthy part is the frustrating part for me, because I realize how shitty that is as a person. I truly do. I go, I don't want to be that guy, but in the moment, it just feels good.
Well,
it's all I know. It's all I knew.
I mean, the Lincoln letter, right? The story of the Lincoln letter.
Yeah, explain it for people who don't.
So know, Abraham Lincoln,
you throw this out. No, you've referenced this before.
Yeah, Abraham Lincoln was a president of the United States, where we live here in America. And he freed these people called the slaves. No, what happened was something happened in the Civil War that went awry, and he had a general screw up majorly, and Lincoln was ready to kill him. So he wrote him this letter that he never sent.
Yeah.
It was very cathartic. And he was like pages. And they found this letter that he wrote later on after he had died. He never sent the letter. He just got his anger out in that letter.
I know.
And the point is like when I talk about Alexa not wanting to hear me, I'm yelling my frustrations at a lot of different things in my life, right? That are kind of funny if they were on a sitcom. You could hear the laugh track and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I can't do that in front of my wife. I can't do that in front of my family. I can't do that in front of my boss. Unless it's like, hey, listen, we have to have a talk. But I have to get it out of my system before we have the quote talk.
Yeah, but
you know what I'm saying? Okay. So in other words, I'm getting it out. It's just not aimed at anybody.
I got you.
It's aimed at like it's like going to target practice.
Look,
nobody gets hurt.
100%. But
you got to get it out. You can't internalize it, or else you'll explode.
As an adult, I used to get up and write 3 pages stream of conscious, and then I stopped doing that. And I try some other things, but it's a good way to set the tone for your day. I think I even saw, people make fun of this, but I think I saw Chris Martin from Coldplay talking about how every day he gets up and he just writes for 12 minutes whatever's on his mind. And he goes, some of it's really awful, horrible stuff. He goes, some of it, though, you turn into songs and things. He goes, that's not where it comes from, but you get it out.
Right.
It clears
it's cathartic.
Day.
That's what the word cathartic means.
And I get that. But at the same time, there was something almost like cartoonish, charming Archie Bunker, Fred Sanford, Fred Flintstone. I don't know, like something about it. And And it is. I don't know if it's a male thing. I don't see many women. I don't know any women that have ever done this. They can handle shit better. I think women are. I've always said this. You can argue intelligence. I think there's intelligence on both sides. I think we could find men and women. The smartest end of the spectrum you're going to find, right? I don't know that one's any smarter than the other, but I do think when it comes to emotional intelligence and being able to see things clearly, or the 10,000 foot view, or the big pit, whatever it is, women are great at it. Where most guys, at least the house apes I hang out with, are all like, bah!
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh, fuck this! You know, I practically would rip a door off the fucking hinges. I would get so mad.
Like women see the connections of the problem. Men see the problem, right?
Yeah.
And how to fix it. Women see the connections. They may not know how to fix it, but they see how it all ties together.
Yes, and they can control their emotions for the most part.
It manifests differently. Their emotions manifest differently.
I get like,
oh yeah, to the moon, Jameson.
It's so stupid. It's dumb, and I don't want to be that way for him, and I haven't really been, but I know. And I go, Jesus. But then I start to think, and I say mean things. I'll say awful mean things to people, like, you know, really kind of hit below the belt in a way that I can do. And then, you know, somebody once said to me, do you feel better doing that? And I go, yeah, in the moment. Kind of. But then I don't, because then you're like, fuck.
The reverberation.
Yeah. I have a situation right now in this town with friends.
Oh,
and
okay.
I could explain who it is, but I should be careful.
Does he sit across from me occasionally?
Huh?
Does he sit across from me?
No.
Okay.
No. I've snapped at him in front of you, but that's just called Tuesday.
Poor dude.
I was fucking pissed.
I know.
Jesus, I was
and
pissed.
I saw it coming like in slow motion. Having worked with you, I'm like, uh-oh.
Somebody says it's like somebody said it's like a train going down. I can hear it coming.
Yeah, it's like third down.
And I'm just like, yeah, but even there, it was like starting out the podcast, and I was trying to establish things, and he's saying things to people, and I'm like, why would you do that? It goes against the very grain. But then why do I care? Like, I should have just stepped back and gone, no big deal. But I can't, because I hold everything close and tight, and then that's when you fuck everything up.
Right.
Is when you hold it tight, you squeeze it so tight you break
Squeeze
it.
the bat too tight.
But something about, like, you know, just lately I've been and I say things that are hurtful, and I push people away, and I get all nasty, and then you start to feel a little bad, and then someone tries to point out to you the right way, and you go, yeah, I know, I'm aware, but I don't know how to. It sounds insane, but there are times where I'm getting better about it, but it's like it could come and I could just be like,
yeah.
What is that?
Yeah,
you were a life coach. What would you say, honestly? And I'm not even picking on you, because I know that. Well, no, I think you think. Well, I say, oh, Dan was a life coach. I did make jokes. I did.
I know.
I will admit that I did. But what would you say to somebody? Like, you know, I mean, Here's the problem I see. When you know better, do better. Well, I know better, but I like the way.
Well, here's the thing. So, like, you've also been the guy who says go for the happier feeling thought. Well, it's very hard to find the happier feeling thought when you're in a moment of misery, because that's what it is, right? And so, what you have to be able to do is every decision we make is ultimately dictated most. This is going to sound odd, by the state you're in. So if you're hungry, right? If you're like those Snickers commercials, well, you seem to get angry when you're hungry. Well, that's true, because when you're hungry, you're going to be more apt to snap at your kids in the car if there's not a service station for another 40 miles, right? Because you're on edge, because you've been doing everything to get them ready. This is all for them. And at the end of the day, you're the one who, you know, like on the airplane, the plane's going down. They say, don't put the mask on your kid, put it on yourself. If you put it on the kid, you die. Yeah. The kid's not going to be able to take care of himself. Right. You got to put it on yourself first, and you got to take care of you first. It sounds selfish. It's not. It's actually one of the more selfless things you could do is take care of yourself, and doing those morning pages and getting up and exercising and getting that stuff out. And the ability to change your state at a moment's notice can work wonders. You have to remind yourself, okay, where am I? First thing you do, you're going to laugh, smile.
Yeah. No, because it
smile. Because close your eyes and just smile. Because when you smile, all the good feelings of smiling actually make you realize it's not so bad.
It never is. but we build it up in our head.
Right.
So it is.
Yeah.
And to the point where like I've had headaches. I can't seem to get out of my own way. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
So
Why am I doing this? And I am the one who talks about find
Yeah.
better feeling thought, because I do believe that. It's just that when there are no better, I'm out of the good feeling thoughts at the moment.
So I know. Right. So that's where the step 2
I
comes
want to
in.
go to the good feeling store.
After you've smiled. Also, folks, try to make a habit of looking in the mirror 5 times a day for 1 minute each time and smiling. I'm not joking.
Okay.
Do that for
All right.
do that for a
I'll
week and
try
see
it.
how your week
I'll
turns
try
out.
it.
Okay.
Try it.
Number 2, the other thing too. This is important. Once you start smiling, when you're in those moments, think about everything you're grateful for.
I know.
Anxiety cannot creep in when you're thinking of gratitude.
Okay.
It's been proven. Now it's hard because the easy thing to do is to smoke that cigarette, not you,
Yeah.
people in general. The easy thing to do is to reach for the refrigerator. The easy thing to do is to punch a wall. The easy thing to do is yell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take a deep breath.
Feels good though.
What am I grateful for? Right, because it does for
That
that moment. Then
Feels
what?
great. Oh.
You know how many times I want to tell off bosses that I've erased the emails?
But see, this is the thing. Is like I did.
Not my current boss. if
I
he's
get
listening.
I get the Lincoln letter thing. I get that. I had the
Chuck Hinkle.
I had the Lincoln letter done to me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you told about
A
the
girl.
The girl, yeah.
Yeah, that told me she wrote a really long letter, and I thought that was at the time. I remember I was young. I was in my.
You were impressed
early-
by that.
I thought I go, wow, that's an emotionally intelligent. I should do something like that. And then I was like, eh.
Well, here's where the gratitude. Here's the trick with the gratitude thing. And Andrew Huberman talked about this. Okay, a lot of people will pretend they're grateful for stuff. Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm
Yeah,
alive. I'm
right.
grateful. You can't
You gotta believe it.
Well, here's how you believe it. Think of all the times somebody's been grateful to you, and you remember them saying thank you, like, "Hey, thank you for helping me out with that." And then another time, for 1 minute a day, just think of all the times, or even in those moments of stress where you take a deep breath, you smile, you think of all the things you're grateful for. Then think of all the times somebody else was grateful to you. Felt like, oh, Bill, thank you. I really needed that. Thank you. I didn't know that I needed help and you were there for me. Thank you. Or, hey man, thanks for picking up the dry cleaning for me. I appreciate it. Any little act of gratitude. I had somebody the other day say something to me. Hey man, that's just what I needed at just the right time. It was perfect timing. Thank you. And I keep a journal of all those times people have thanked me and you go over
really?
it. Yeah, every day. So I remind myself
Such a nerd.
not to forget about that feeling, because when you retrain, that's how you retrain your mind.
All right.
You can't lie to yourself. If you feel good, if somebody's grateful to you, you feel good.
Yes.
You can't fake that.
No.
You can fake, yeah,
And
I'm
that's-
grateful that I'm alive.
That's that feeling. Like you're right.
Yeah,
That's
the Bills
better
won. I'm
feeling.
grateful. So what? 19 penalties, 10 accepted. Barely got out. I mean, you understand, like, I'm being
Yes.
facetious, but you can understand like how you
Right.
can trick yourself into
Shit into
thinking
your own.
you're thankful, but you're not. But when you think about all the times people have been grateful to you,
Yeah.
do you know how many times on this show I have quoted back something you said to me years ago?
Yeah.
And one of my favorite lines ever: if you want to do something, you will. And if you don't want to do something, you will find a reason not to, or an excuse.
Yes.
And I have applied that logic so many effing times over the last 15 years that it's like, hey, Dan, if you really wanted to do this,
Yeah.
you'd
You
do
would
it.
do it, right.
Or you'll find a way out.
Right.
And you were talking about a guy that we worked with who just was like slacking off.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to. That's
Yeah.
why he doesn't want to do it. If you want to do something, like, and then you used a friend of ours as an example. He wanted to be a rock star. Guess what? He went out and did it.
Yeah.
He's touring the country right now.
Yeah,
Why? Because he wanted to. This guy
But
doesn't want to be a PD. I'm like, I'm Billy, I'm with you.
I believe.
But I wrote that down.
Yeah.
Like, if
Well,
if
I can say that for myself because I know there are things I know. See, here's the root of what I'm trying to say is that I'm aware of things that are holding me back, and yet I can't seem to figure out how to get out of my own way a little
Mhm.
bit. And that's frustrating. And some other things are frustrating. And I think that, and I know that I to your point of belief, right?
Mhm.
I always say a belief is just a thought you think over and over and over again. Well, so what you're saying is be grateful, you'll retrain your mind. It's a thought you think over and over again. You really will.
Yeah.
You are speaking absolute wisdom. But I think that there's sometimes though real down your core belief is, well, it's not going to work, or I don't know. And so
that's where the gratitude practice comes in, because you cannot fool yourself.
You got to get rid of that in order for anything to work, because if you don't, it becomes that. And there was something else I wanted to bring up about this, and I can't remember right now, but it'll come to me as the podcast goes on. But I think that is all very true, and I feel a little bit like a hypocrite because I say all these things and I believe them, but sometimes when it comes down to your own practice, and I think that's the real practice in life. It's the real practice. In life.
So I don't want to get all Christian-y on you.
Yeah.
But in Christianity, the idea is, if you're not familiar with this, Jesus Christ died to save you of all your sins, past, present, and future. You can either accept it or reject it. Okay. If you accept it, there have been many people who have said, listen, on my best day, if God judged me on my best nanosecond of my life to get to heaven, I'd be damned.
Yeah.
In other words, you're never always going to get it right. You can only just get better. Okay. I'm talking about from a practical standpoint. I'm talking about a salvational standpoint. That's through Christ. I'm talking about just in general. We don't all believe 100%. What we think we believe, right? There's always doubt in our heads. We're everything. Well, there's always mistakes with everything. You could always do something better. You could always think more clearly. You could always make a better effort, right? So you're never going to get it 100% right. So don't beat yourself up when you get it wrong.
Well,
but just make the effort.
No, I think what you're saying is, see, this is where like you and I have very similar thought patterns. We just have different
views of it,
different ends of it. That's all.
Mine's Jesus, yours is
mine's just the universe,
right? But is trying to kill us.
Well, okay, but I agree with you that you do need to retrain your mind, think these things, and in your own life when shit's going better. Right. It's like everything's going great. Yay, I can do it. Whatever.
So I was reading something today in one of my devotionals, and I'll stop.
Yeah.
And yes, this is a Christian perspective, but people say, well, prayer, I mean, it's the laziest thing you can do. You can do it right from your couch. No, that's the battle. That's the battle. Prayer. That's the battle. Because guess what? Anybody can do it. So why not do it? Why not ask, in my case, Jesus, who I believe is the creator of the universe, for everything you need?
Yes.
Just pray. Pray and just keep praying. Like, oh man, there's stories about the Wesley brothers, the Wesleyan church. They prayed for like 3-4 hours before they started their day. And then John Wesleyan said, if it weren't for the 3 hours of prayer in the morning, I don't know how I could get through the rest of my day. I mean, that's dedication, man. The average pastor prays maybe 5 minutes a day. That's ridiculous. Well, these are pastors.
Yeah.
You want to pray. You want to pray. It's a hotline to God.
Yeah.
Do it.
I think that the hotline is
I'll put my Bible down now.
No, but I would say like all the things that you're saying, but I almost feel like we have the same abilities as Jesus. We just don't know where they are. You know what I mean? We do. We have that same pure positive light, that pure everything is there, and it's all for you to have. And I think like it can be prayer, it can be meditation, it can be daydreaming. Daydream what you want, and then just stay focused on that, and it'll work out. All right, we'll take a moment. Jerry Jones is melting down on
again.
Oh, did you hear this?
I heard it 2 days ago. I heard it. Yeah,
I haven't heard the whole thing. I thought it'd be kind of fun to hear it because you and I have worked in radio.
Yes,
and so I thought it'd be fun.
I am surprised that it has taken an owner of any sport this long to say this.
Yeah, well,
because they're always thinking it.
Let's see if I got the right. Oh, okay. I think I have the right clip.
Okay,
the right
all right.
We'll get to all that right after this.